That's what's going on. We are back again. Much appreciate every single one of you. My baller.
I'll say this now.
We do need a striker now, right? But we are not getting the striker. Big France, we want to win, make it happen. Shot fired. Arsenal had made off a player, made off a player. We want to talk about context.
The problem I think Arsenal had is also what Man United did.
We're sitting there back in a 4-year process. These man that you're referring to, they're on my level. Big up White for love you, man, watching from Poland. I don't give up who the manager is. I just want my club to operate at the standards that I expect.
Maybe he watched that stream last and there's a championship player and he was like,
it's like until this ownership and managers go, Arsenal ain't winning it. Now make sure you are hitting the like button. Shots fired. What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. We are back again. Big up every single one of you. We are going to be diving in and looking at the games so far over this weekend. Big games, a number of goals being scored, ladies and gentlemen. It's an interesting Saturday we had. And we've got a big one today against Liverpool, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking forward to that one. Make sure we are hitting the like button. Do subscribe to the channel if we are new. Turn the notification bells on. All of that. Big up the people in the building. Much appreciate you guys. Oh, whoa. Yesterday was a goal thriller. How many goals did we see yesterday? Big games. Big games. AFC always says we sacked Emery. We sacked Emery, bro. He's on stuff. It hasn't been like the greatest of rides for Emery. Let's be honest. When I say greatest of rides, I mean like recent rides, like the destinations that he has stopped off at. It's been difficult for him. But yesterday, Aston Villa slapped up Sheffield United. I expected them to do maybe 10 goals. I see 4 in like the first 20 minutes, the first 25 minutes. It was crazy, blood. It was crazy. Big up all the real ones in the building. We appreciate you, man. Big up Amin in the building. We've got David James in the building. Did you think Egal was the biggest flip-flop in Arsenal's fan base? Oh, come on, man. Leave Egal alone, fam. Leave Egal alone, bro. Wax today is a must-win game for us. If we have any chance to win the league, we have to win these type of games. Exactly that. This is a must-win game, ladies and gentlemen. A big 3 points is needed. We're at home. A lot of people are optimistic. A lot of people are confident. They believe Arsenal are going to get a job done today. I'm not entirely sure. I have to be totally real with you. I think it's going to be extremely difficult. Arsenal might be able to get something out of the game. Mikel Arteta expects goals. Yeah, he expects goals today. Does he expect goals from Arsenal, or was he implying that he expects goals from Liverpool? Because Liverpool at this moment in time are on fire. They're on fire, and they're not a team to be reckoned with. They are a team to be worried about. And, you know, when people are out here saying Arsenal scare me, Arsenal worry me. No. Liverpool are the team that worry me, ladies and gentlemen. They are the team that worry me. But if we look at the games yesterday, thriller. Whoa, a lot of draws. Aston Villa with their big 5-0 result. We had Newcastle and Luton. That was an interesting game. Very, very interesting. Ross Barkley, yeah. Oh, yeah, this guy deserves to be at a bigger club. You know, with all due respect to Luton, I think Ross Barkley deserves to be at a bigger club. He is carrying Luton right now. But they're doing well, man. They're shaky defensively, but attacking-wise, they're putting together patterns. They're putting together, you know, opportunities to score, and they're taking their opportunities. You know, they've got that young player. What's his name again? What's that young player's name again? I know a lot of people are suggesting that Arsenal should take a look at him. I know Darth Vader raves about him. What's his name? Doherty? Is it Doherty? I think it's Doherty. You know, he's a very, very good player. He's been showing improving this season for Luton. And a number of teams have been looking at him. But, you know, listen, let's go through one game at a time. We've got a big one against Liverpool today. Do comment down below. Let me know what your score predictions are going to be for that game. Let me know how I'm sounding. I got myself a new mic. Yeah, cool. I had to step it up. I had to switch it up. The quality of the streams wasn't sounding too great. So I had to get myself a new mic. Do let me know how this one sounds. I done a little mic check yesterday where it was crisp in comparison to what I was doing before. So big up the new mic gang. Yeah, the new mic gang. Big up Just Ads in the building. Amin says 26 goals in 5 games yesterday in the Premier League. Crazy. It was exciting times. Let's hope that we're going to see a number of goals today. We've got some big games coming up today. I believe we've got Man United and West Ham today, kicking off at 2 o'clock. We then have Chelsea and Wolves kicking off at 2 o'clock. Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest also today. Interesting game. We've got Brentford and Man City late tonight, 8 o'clock. But the big one, the most exciting game, the most anticipated game of this week is at 4:30, ladies and gentlemen, against Liverpool. Arsenal and Liverpool, that is the big one. That is the make or break for Arsenal. We have to be totally honest. That is the make or break for Arsenal. If Arsenal can't get a result from this Liverpool game, it's done. The title race is done. You know, and it's sad. We have to wait another 18 months before we can think about being in another title race, unless there is a major capitulation that takes place this season and Arsenal take advantage of that. And I'm hypothetically speaking here, based on the fact that we lose. No, like, there could be something crazy, but I don't think that will happen. So Arsenal now need to go into this game focused, motivated, hungry, and they need to go in with 5 goals like we did the other day against Crystal Palace. It needs to be one of those games. If Arsenal want to get something out of it, bro, your mic is on point. Mic is sounding good. Thank you ever so much, gang. Big up every single one of you, man. At least we ain't going to get no annoying sounds, interference. You know that, bro, it's the hate it. You hear the table, you hear everything. You hear anything that happens with the other mic. And that was a Blue Magic mic as well, you know. Imagine that, bro. Had it for so long, dropped it multiple times. But this one, no, I'm looking after this one, bro. I'm looking after this one. City game is Monday, Wax. So we got the City game is on Monday. Is it Monday? Oh, it is tomorrow. Sorry, it's tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I do apologize. But anyway, let's dive into the games that we had yesterday. So we had Everton and Tottenham. Let's start off with these Spursy Dons. 2-2 yesterday against Everton. Literally capitulated in the game. They flopped. Man like Jared Brathwaite, the guy that we've been linked to, with a goal in the final moments. I think it was like 93 or 94 minutes into the game. Literally, Tottenham felt like shit. They felt embarrassed. Another game where they throw points away, and that's lovely for Arsenal. We need Tottenhams. We need these teams to be dropping points. But I mean, the season for Tottenham hasn't been bad. It hasn't been bad. They are still, you know, in a top 4 race. You know, like I was saying earlier, right? If Arsenal don't win today, I reckon we're out of the race. However, a madness could happen later on in the season whereby a number of teams just capitulate and start throwing away points, and Arsenal could capitalize on that. Spurs could potentially do the same thing if you think about it. They could do the same thing. They're in a position where they could still try and push for a second. They're in a position where they could still try and push for a fifth. A fifth. Yeah, we would love to see that, or even an 8th. But I was going to say a 3rd, actually. I don't know why I said 5th. So Arteta expects goals. Big up my guy, A9. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, tonight there will be a live panel reaction on this channel, hosted by Guna Muttley, hopefully, because he hasn't even responded to me yet this morning. I don't know what you're doing, mate. But yeah, hopefully we'll have a live panel reaction. If Guna Muttley doesn't respond, then I'll actually do it. But I want to get the guys involved later on tonight, about 6:30, 7 o'clock after the game. So make sure you guys are there if you want to get yourself involved. We got Darth Vader. He said, I wouldn't be surprised if Luton get into the FA Cup final. Luton on smoke. We're going to talk about Luton in a second, my guy. Wax, we're already out the title race. We should concentrate on the Champions League. Listen, I wouldn't say we're out of it just yet. We're still in the race, you know, at this moment in time. Anything can happen. But this is the make or break game for me. If Arsenal can't win today, a draw or a loss just does it for me. A draw or a loss does it. It doesn't make any sense. You know, we have to focus on the Champions League if we lose or draw today, and that's bang on the money. But let's just quickly touch on these Spursy Dons. Everton v Tottenham. Let me just bang this on the screen for you guys so we can kind of look at the stats of the game as well. Really interesting game for Tottenham yesterday, man. Unfortunately for them, they threw it away, but that's the bottle jobs that they are, aren't they? They're bottle job FC, really, aren't they? They're the definition of bottle job over there. Sorry, all this too much latte and too much cappuccino puts a lot of saliva in my mouth, but I don't know what it is. But they are the definition of bottle job over there, man. Let's just bang this on the screen quickly. So 2-2. Give me your thoughts on yesterday's results, ladies and gentlemen. What did you make of the games yesterday? A lot of goals, 26 goals in all games in the Premier League yesterday. Incredible. They ain't bottle jobs. They didn't lose, yeah, but they threw it away though, innit? They dropped points. That's just bottling. That's bottling the lead. You bottled the lead, so they were bottle jobs. You don't need to be, you don't need to lose in order to be called bottle jobs. Bottle job. You could be a bottle job if you're leading the race and you throw it away. You're a bottle job. Do you understand? Tottenham were winning the game yesterday, and they threw it away to Everton, who actually, when we look at the data in a minute, are going to show you that they actually had a good game and they could have got more goals potentially. But come on, they were leading and they threw it away. They end up getting a draw. That's bottle job. That's we got Meady in the building trying to back this Spurs project. Yeah, okay. I see you, broski. I see you, broski. Make sure we are hitting the like button, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking to you, blood. I need you to hit the like button. Yes, I need you guys to hit that like button. Make sure we are absolutely slapping the like button. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's switch over here. We're going to smoke mode. Yeah. So 2-2 for yesterday's game. Pretty interesting. Tottenham again, bottle job FC. Have to say it. Richarlison getting himself some goals. He's been a questionable striker for Tottenham since he's been there, but I think Angie has definitely got something else out of him. Angie is a good manager. We have to give it to Angie. We can't just be biased here. I'm an Arsenal fan, of course, and I know these are our biggest rivals, but this stream is about me just kind of telling you what it is, how it is, and that's who I am anyway. I don't care about all that stuff. But I will banter the rivals and I will get at them when I need to get at them, X, Y, and Z. But taking our Arsenal caps off for a minute, Angie is a good manager. And I think the way he puts himself across in press conferences, the way his tactics are, I think he's well put together. And of course, he still needs components. He still needs players to obviously help the project bang. He's only been there for a short space of time. But for him to be where he's at right now with Tottenham, we have to take our hats off to him for a second, because Tottenham have just lost Harry Kane. We have to take the context in. They've lost Harry Kane, they've lost Eric Dyer. I mean, Eric Dyer is not really a big miss to them, but they've lost a few key players, and everybody thought when Harry Kane leaves, that's the end of Tottenham, but it doesn't seem to be the case. It seems like Harry Kane has actually taken Tottenham to Bayern Munich. Even though he's scoring a bag of goals, Bayern Munich are not in the position that they want to be in, right? And there's a strong possibility at this moment in time that Bayern Leverkusen can go and win the league. Imagine that. First season over there, you don't even win the league. Man went there because he thought he was going to win the league in his first season. He goes there and an inexperienced manager wins the league over Tuchel. That's mad. Mad. Spursy. If that ain't Spursy, what is, boys and girls? Come on. Anyway, so Everton, Jack Harrison, Jared Brathwaite scores the equaliser in the 94th minute. Tottenham fans must have been feeling pissed. You have to be real. We look at the stats for the game. I did actually watch the game, not fully. I was watching bits of the game, as I do, always occupied. But if you look at the stats of the game, Everton were on smoke. Now we know Everton's current situation, very, very difficult times for Everton financially. There have been deducted points this season. Sean Dyche is on it though. He's determined to still make it happen this season. And based on the table, based on how the points are looking, Everton are safe. I think Everton will definitely get themselves out of a relegation scrap and keep themselves in the Premier League. They're another team in the Premier League that have never been relegated before. Never been relegated. Their owners are going through a process at the moment of trying to sell the club. I think they're already in the pipeline of agreeing, a fee with some sort of organization. I don't know what exactly or who exactly, but they are in a difficult time, and Sean Dyche is making it happen. If you look at the players that Everton do have, they have got a number of good players. Amadou Onana, as we do know, being linked with a move to Arsenal, could potentially still join Arsenal in the summer. He's someone that's really good. They've got Calvert-Lewin. Man, like Calvert-Lewin, everyone loves a bit of Calvert-Lewin, especially Arsenal media, bro. But they've got some decent players over there, you know, Dwight McNeil, you know, a few different Dons. And Jack Harrison, signing him from Leeds, I think that was a really good signing. One of Leeds' best players. He's technically good. Really, he's like really technically good. Really technically good. Can't even get my words out, bro. That's the hay fever meds, bro. That's the hay fever meds. Darth, did you pop your hay fever tabs? Yeah, flipping hell. But you know, Jack Harrison's a really good player. Demonstrated his quality at Leeds, and he's gone to Everton. Really good signing for them. Scored for them. Jared Brathwaite as well. And yeah, man, a team that I expect to stay in the Premier League. I definitely would say that. But looking at their stats look good for yesterday's game. They were determined, trying to make it happen. Tottenham had all the possession, but unfortunately threw it away. Where do we expect Tottenham to finish in the Premier League this season? Top four. I think Tottenham can probably creep into that top four. Top four at the moment is Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, and Aston Villa. I think Tottenham and West Ham could potentially creep in there. Well, West Ham are 10 points off saying that, but they are doing well. And then you've got Everton 18th in the league at the moment, 19 points, only 3 points away from 15th. So as I said, they seem that they will get themselves back into that position, into those type of positions, and climb themselves back up the ladder in the second half of the season. And you got Burnley, Sheffield United. Sheffield United got slapped 5-0 yesterday. So I'm not surprised why they're sitting at the bottom of the table, bro. They're definitely getting relegated. Burnley probably will get relegated as well. Company trying to do up Pep Guardiola football. This isn't working out for him. 16 losses so far this season. Shambles, man. Shambles. I thought Burnley were going to come up and do better than that, but clearly not. Clearly not. But yeah, Everton, I think Everton will be safe, ladies and gentlemen. What are our thoughts on that game yesterday? 2-2, Everton getting a point. Spurs will be closer to us than will be to Liverpool and City. Oh, look at that. Peppermint Freedom says, go to Porto and we've seen the script before. We cannot be bantering Spurs. They're better than us. So true. Decore is still there. Decore is a good player. We was looking at Decore, I know, a few years back, but come on, man. We don't want to be signing players like that. Dyche is the new Sam Allardyce. He definitely is. Any updates on the Liverpool squad? I hope Salah ain't playing. We will touch on the Liverpool and Arsenal game in a little while. Make sure we are hitting the like button. Do subscribe to the channel, all of that type of stuff. I do apologize. I didn't actually go to sleep. It was about 5 in the morning last night, but I had a late night, you know. Swear down, I've been having late nights. I didn't predict Company to get sacked first, but looks like Arteta's man's on a lifetime contract. It's so mad. Like they are, you see, Company and Arteta, they're really inspired by Pep. You can tell when you watch their football that a lot of their stuff's been learned through Pep. They learned a lot through Pep, and they're trying to implement all those ideas. And to a degree, I mean, for Company, it's fully not working. To Arteta, to a degree, it is working, but still tweaks need to be made. But if you look at the stats don't lie, because Burnley, Arsenal, and Man City are bottom of the league for the slowest football in the league. That's crazy. That's crazy. Slowest football. You look at Liverpool. Liverpool, I think they're number one for the fastest football in the league. They play the fastest football, Liverpool, in the league. They move the ball around quick. Their movement, all of that's quick. Their transitions are quick. Their counter press, everything that they do is just, they're on point. Brighton's even up there. Brighton's like the 4th or maybe even the 7th, something. But Arsenal, Man City, and Burnley are at the bottom of the league for the tempo of football that they play. The slowest football. And there's no coincidence there that it's Pep Guardiola and both of his flipping apprentices. Yeah. You know them way there. Pep Guardiola and his apprentices, bro. All right, let's move on to another game that took place yesterday. Let's move on to this Unai Emery game. Unai Emery retaliates. He retaliates after having a tricky few games. Aston Villa. They're an interesting team, Aston Villa. I know there's a lot of Arsenal fans that support Aston Villa on a sly. I know there are. I'm not one of them. I can't lie to you. I like Aston Villa, and you know, you know what I like about Aston Villa is how they've kind of managed their projects over the past couple of years. They put belief in Steven Gerrard, and it didn't work out. Steven Gerrard actually had a good time. He had a good time at Aston Villa when he initially got there. Decent little run, and then it kind of all fell apart for Steven Gerrard. All fell apart for him. And then Unai Emery come along. Now, before Steven Gerrard, they had Dean Smith, who is now in the Championship. So that says all you need to know. He's obviously not a Premier League seasoned manager. It wasn't going to work. He's the one that sold Jack Grealish. He had to, 100 million. You can't say no to that. Was the money well spent under Dean Smith, can you say? I'm not too sure. I wouldn't say so. Did Steven Gerrard bring in some good players for Aston Villa? I would say so. He did bring in some good players. But Aston Villa now have a new driver of the bus in Unai Emery, our ex and old manager. And he has done a tremendous job. He has done a tremendous job, ladies and gentlemen. Let's be real. He took over just over a year ago. It hasn't been that long. He found Aston Villa 15th in the league, or 15th or 16th. They could even have been lower than that. I think they were about 17th maybe. But he found them really low in the league. Steven Gerrard literally killed Aston Villa. Absolutely strangled them. They went blue. They were out. They needed resuffocate. What was it? Was it resuscitating? Is that it? Fucking, but you know what I mean, bro. Their man were finished. Unai Emery went in literally about 6 to 7 months. It wasn't even a full season. He took them from 15th into a Europa League spot. No, into a Conference League spot. I think he got them 7th. He got them 7th. Let's look at this. This is crazy. And this is the reason why you got to kind of appreciate the way they've managed their project. A team like Aston Villa, based on where Steven Gerrard took them to, based on where, you know, Dean Smith had them. They wasn't in a great position. They looked like a team that was destined to get relegated. The moment they lost, Jack Grealish, it was over. It was over. The Aston Villa fans were having nightmares. They were having nightmares, literally. They thought it was done. They thought it was over. So Unai Emery last season finished 7th in the league. He finished 7th, ladies and gentlemen. So he found Aston Villa more or less where Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth are. And he finished 7th. That is crazy. And that was with no backing. Just to let you guys know, Unai Emery spent no money whilst doing that. He spent no money whilst doing that. Now, that's what you call a real manager. Then he's gone into this window, brought himself, a few players. He's brought himself a few players, and I have to say I applaud him for the signings that he's made. Moussa Diaby, Yuri Tillemans on a free. Like, they've made some shrewd signings, let's be real. And those signings, along with a new and improved Ollie Watkins, they're on smoke, bro. They're on smoke and find themselves 4th the following season. Look at that trajectory under Unai Emery. You can't hate on that. You cannot hate on that. And this is the reason why I said again, you have to appreciate Aston Villa for the way they've managed their project over the past couple of years. Imagine if we had kept Emery, where would we be now? It makes you think. Exactly. We sacked Unai Emery when Unai Emery was 8th in the league. He was 8th in the league, but it was only 4 points behind 4th. And it was November. So you're telling me Unai Emery didn't have enough time to actually get us in the top 4? Of course he did. He had enough time. Something doesn't sit right with me at that time. Something happened that we just haven't been able to pinpoint because there's no evidence. And all we can do right now is base it on theory, conspiracy. But Unai Emery wasn't backed to Arsenal, not the way Mikel Arteta has been backed. So if Unai Emery was backed the way Mikel Arteta has been backed, I'm telling you now, Unai Emery might have won the league. I reckon if we was in the position that we was in yesterday, he would have won the league. I don't think Unai Emery would have capitulated that. Not a 7-point gap at the top of the table. Not with those type of players that he had. I don't think he would have capitulated. But you can never say never. We have seen him under Aston Villa capitulate. Let's be real now. Let's be real now. Let's not be biased here. under Aston Villa this season, Unai Emery has found himself in a fantastic position, 2-3 points in front of Arsenal, or could have been 3 points in front of Arsenal. And in that game, they went and lost. They went and lost. And it's a game where you expect them to win. It was a game where you expect them to win. Let's quickly look at Aston Villa's fixtures before we actually talk about the game. I mean, there's no point in really touching on the game. They absolutely battered Sheffield United. It should have been more. 5-0 is slightly underwhelming when you look at it, because I saw 5-0 by 50 minutes. There was another 25 minutes, 30 minutes to still play. I expected another 2, 3, 4 goals. But no, they didn't deliver on that. Maybe they just took their foot off the gas and thought, yeah, well, we're 5-0 up. Let's not embarrass Sheffield. I mean, I would want to get the GD, to be quite fair. But I mean, 5 goals is enough GD. Puts them on 19. So they're only four behind Arsenal. So but anyway, let's look at their fixtures. If we go here, I don't know why it's not telling me where the fixtures are, bro. Why it's not saying Aston Villa fixtures? Like, come on, man. Matches, yeah, here we go. So if we look at their recent fixtures, look, they lost 3-1 against Aston Villa. I guess look at me, blood. These hay fever meds, they're not doing me well. I need to chuck them in a bin. Aston Villa v Newcastle, losing 3-1, sad. Drawing to Everton, sad. That's 4 points, not 4 points. That's the maths. That's 5 points. Come on, maths, man. That's how you know I had a late night. When you see me move like this, ladies and gentlemen, on camera, where I'm all over the place and I can't even get my words out, it's because I had a late night and I literally woke up so early, and that's why I'm just back in bare coffee. It's not good for me. It's actually not good for me. I need to sort my clock out. Help my brain. So yeah, like those 2 games there, they threw away 5 points, ladies and gentlemen. 5 points. That's capitulation. That's capitulation. That's embarrassing. You know, so when you look at it from that perspective, it's like, all right, cool. Maybe last season, if you was in the position of Arteta, you would have probably capitulated as well. You know, that way there. Because you're showing it to me now. Was you playing COD last night? Nah, but I wasn't even playing COD. I was just up, vibes in, friends, chilling. I didn't go to sleep till about 5 o'clock. Literally. Didn't go to sleep till about 5 o'clock. And then I woke up about 7:30. I woke up about 7:30. Mad. I probably will nap throughout this afternoon, though. I definitely will nap, probably just before the Arsenal game. But yeah, man, Emery he's changed them around. But there's games that they should have won, but that they didn't. And we were obviously talking about capitulation there, just not sound overly biased, because we're not biased. I don't care about Unai Emery. I was Emery out. For those that don't know, I was Emery out, blood. I was just being fair. You see the points that I always made about Unai Emery. I was Emery out, especially towards the end of his tenure. But in the arguments of Arteta and Emery, I was just being fair. And any point that I put on the table about Unai Emery was just trying to be fair about the whole situation. Unai Emery was given 18 months. Mikel Arteta is given 4 years. Do you understand? There's a massive difference. Unai Emery finished 5th. Man had us finishing 8th and 5th. It took him like a year and a half, 2 years to get to where Emery finished in his first season. So it's questionable, you know, then way there. Like when you think about it like that, it's like, yeah, no, you don't talk shit to me. Let me be fair to Unai Emery there. You know, in a way there. So if he was given more time, maybe he could have changed it around, you know, in a way there. Don't stop saying that word, but what's going on? Then way there. But yeah, man, Sheffield United got absolutely battered. Unai Emery doing well for Aston Villa, and finds himself in 4th position. Let's move on. Let's move on to Darth Vader's team, Luton Town, who have recently been promoted to the Premier League, as we do know. And they've made a couple of they've brought in a couple of signings, made a couple of signings, and I think they've done extremely well. I don't even know their manager's name. Darth, help me out. Who's your manager? Who is the Luton manager? But Luton, 4-4 thriller. Luton, another team that capitulated, being 4-2 up. I mean, it's really hard for Luton because Luton aren't a team that you expect to go 4-2 up away at St James's Park. I mean, that doesn't make any sense for anyone. You know, so when Newcastle get back into that game, you know, are you going to really say they capitulated? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. It's a totally different. It's a totally different. It's a totally different way of looking at things, isn't it? Like when you're looking at Luton and you're looking at a team like Aston Villa, the comparison, maybe the teams that they're playing. That's the reason why, like even Tottenham as well, when we're talking about capitulation. But they more or less capitulated in the game. I don't blame them. Newcastle are a good enough team to absolutely slap Luton. Let's be honest. I know Darth Vader was at the game yesterday. Was putting all pictures of him and Gunnar Mutley in the chat. Well, Gunnar Mutley is a Gunnar fan going to Newcastle and Luton games. He's loving life, man. He's loving life. Big up Darth Vader, bringing him in. Why not, man? Live. I love the story of Arteta coming to us. It was a fairy tale, but now it's becoming a horror story very fast. Paul, I have to agree with you. You know, I kind of entertain, you know, that idea as well. You know, that fairy tale. That, oh my God, leader, captain. I mean, this might be it. He's been with Pep. You know, like you just try to give yourself context. You try to just, you know, look at it from a positive perspective, isn't it? I guess. Look at all the pros that came with it. All the pros rather than all the cons. We thought, inexperienced. Nah, don't worry about that. He's a leader. It's got to work. He was a captain at Arsenal. He knows what it means to wear this badge. You know that way there. So, yeah, man. Yeah, boys. Yeah, now it's starting to become a horror show. You're right, man. Let's just hope he can turn it around, man. How does he manage it today? How does he manage the rest of the season? It's going to be extremely interesting. Doherty is a quality player. Can see him going to a bigger team. It's what an afternoon it was, Darth. Big up my guy Darth Vader. Watching his almighty Luton slap up Newcastle. They took it to Newcastle. The fight, the spirit. I love it. You know, I love it. You know, they've got some good players, man. Osho scored a good goal. Then you got Ross Barkley, who is carrying Luton's midfield at the moment. You know, they've got Morris as well, who's a good player. I wouldn't say Morris is Premier League ready or you know, even just like the Premier League standards, not even Premier League ready. He's obviously here scoring goals, you know, doing well. But is he really Premier League standard, or is it just going to be one of those anomalies and he falls off next season and he goes back to the Championship, finds himself where he belongs? Let's be real. It might be one of those ones. Everyone has like a moment in the Premier League, but if the consistency is not there, then it suggests that you're not good enough. But, you know, Ross Barkley is a player that we have to talk about because Ross Barkley, we see what he done against us when we played Luton. It carried them in that game. I haven't been religiously watching Luton this season, so Darth can probably help me out here. But even on based on what I saw yesterday, he looked like he was carrying that midfield. Ross Barkley is a very, very good player. He's intelligent, man, extremely intelligent, knows where to be, knows where to run. He's an aggressive player, wins balls, interceptions. They've got him playing as like a 6/8. You know, and he plays that role extremely well. You know, he plays that role better than Havertz. So you're telling me Ross Barkley wouldn't do a better job in this Arsenal team than Havertz? 110% he would. 110% he would. But obviously, this is not about throwing shade on Havertz or anything like that. It's just kind of just looking at the comparison and looking at perspective and saying, it's a weird one, isn't it? But Ross Barkley is a good player. With all due respect to Luton, I think Ross Barkley should be playing for a better team. He could probably fit into West Ham's team. He could probably fit into Newcastle's team. You know, like Ross Barkley's got the qualities. Obviously, he's getting old now. I think he's 32 now. But he's definitely the player that he was once labeled. You know, like he's proven to be that player now that he was once labeled. There was so many spells from Ross Barkley in the past. I remember when Ross Barkley was playing for Chelsea, he had good moments there. Obviously, he carried Everton for a bit as well. I mean, he was a very, very good player. There was a lot of potential around him. There was a lot of, talk to suggest that he was going to be X, Y, and Z. And I don't think he lived up to those expectations. I think he kind of, Chelsea was his limit. He didn't go through the roof, did he, at Chelsea? You know? So yeah, Ross Barkley, man, like good player. They're doing extremely well. And if they lost him, I think there could be a move for Ross Barkley on the cards in the summer. With the way he's played in the Premier League, he's proved this season that he's a Premier League player. Like he's good enough to play in the Premier League. He's got the qualities to actually carry a team in midfield. He's got the experience. He's got the know-how. Barkley is 28. Look at me. I'm thinking he's 32. You know, he's 28, bro. Look at that. Look at that. But I think, Darth, unfortunately, you man could lose him. Do you think Luton and Forest will survive? I think they've both got a good chance of surviving. We'll look at the table as well in a minute, just to kind of see where those two teams are at. But Ross Barkley, unfortunately, Darth, I think he could leave yous, man. I think he could leave yous, man, in the summer. I think a team, especially being 28, I think he was 32. I thought he was 32. 28, that makes matters worse for you, man. That makes matters worse for you, man. So, yeah, there could be teams interested in Ross Barkley based on the performances that he's been putting in this season. Ross Barkley has the main character. It has to be the main character at the club to get the best out of him. Move him to a club like Arsenal or Chelsea, he will lose his head. You've got a good point. You've got a really good point. He was the main man at Everton, and he carried Everton for a number of years. Extremely well. And he's doing the same with Luton. So you're probably right there. Being the main man, he needs to be the main man. If he's not the main man, then he's done. Barkley will not leave. We already had a gentleman's agreement with him. He's staying because we resurrected his career. That's the word I was looking for earlier. Resurrected. Was it? Resuscitated. No, I was actually looking for resuscitation. Oh my God. My brain is, listen, I need to start reading again and shit. I don't know what's going on. Barkley is younger than Bernardo and Bruno Fernandes. Imagine that. If that's what I'm saying. When I assumed that he was 32, I actually thought, because it's because he's been around for so long. I actually thought he was even older than 32, but it's because he's been around for so long. Ross Barkley feels like he's been here for a century. He's 30. There we go. His birthday was just gone in December. So who said he was 28, man? They're lying to me. But yesterday's performance, man, it was a good game yesterday, man. Definitely one for the neutrals that you were watching that one at home and you're like, oh my God, goals galore. 8 goals in one game. You love to see it. Sean Longstaff scored 2 brilliant goals. Kieran Trippier, I mean, he's the one that more or less got Newcastle back into the game. And Harvey Barnes with the goal to get the equalizer, and it was a beautiful goal from outside the box. I'm surprised their goalkeeper didn't actually save it, to be quite fair, because it wasn't really tight in the corner. He could have got a hand to it, but this goes to show you that Luton's defense isn't really that great, man. One of Sean Longstaff's goals, that guy that scored for Luton, what's his name? Gabriel Osha, that centre back. Or is he a right back? Whatever he is. Boy, he was getting outrun by what's his name? Anthony Gordon. He's a good player. I like Anthony Gordon. Since he's gone to Newcastle, he's kind of stepped up as well, isn't he? Like, since Anthony Gordon's gone to Newcastle, he has stepped up. Oh, is Barkley mixed race, yeah? Oh, wow. What is he, light skin? No, man. I thought he's a white don, man. He's Caucasian. I'm light skin, bro. This is what light skin looks like, cuz. I'm joking, blood. There's various different types of light skin, obviously. I didn't even know he was light skinned. Oh, he might be like my older brother. We've got different dads. My older brother's like very fair. Like, looks, he could more or less pull off being white. Not saying that he probably can't. He's got curly hair and that he can't. But he's really light skinned. Only 40 likes in the video. Make sure you are hitting the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Do share the video, do subscribe, all of that type of stuff. Man, we're doing something different. Not always Arsenal. We're just talking about other teams, you know. I do apologize for my little brat, my brain spasms. I went to sleep at 5 o'clock this morning and woke up about 8 o'clock. It was about 7:38 I woke up. 7:30, lied in bed for about half an hour looking at my phone, which is not good for you. And then here I am. Drinking too much coffee as well. It's not really good for me. It's actually ruining my skin. My skin's actually getting ruined. I'm going to the face clinic. I'm going to the skin clinic soon anyway. Yeah, big up my girl. She's taking me skin clinic, bro. We're getting our shit sorted, bro. She goes skin clinic on a regular, but I need to start going to the skin clinic to help myself out, bro. start looking all smooth again. Like, you can see my new teeth and my new skin soon. Like, it's gonna be mad. You're gonna be like, whoa, Wax, you look like a totally different Don. Guy in Turkey, blood, get my teeth done, guys. Oh, I'm looking forward to that, bro. I'm telling you. Osho is a very good player. He's a proper stepped up his game at Palace and Fulham, interested in him. Likewise with Menji. Tijan Menji is a good player as well. He's really fast. I actually signed him on Football Manager. I always sign him on Football Manager. You can get him for free off Manchester United usually. And he turns into a sick player, especially when you give him bare minutes. Yeah, I would have Gordon in this Arsenal squad. He's definitely stepped up. Bro, he's definitely stepped up. But you know what it is? It's the manager that stepped him up. You see how sharp Anthony Gordon looks? Tell me if Martinelli looks that sharp at the moment. He doesn't, does he? Anthony Gordon looks way more sharper than Martinelli. But remember this. Remember when we was doing, remember last season when we were doing the Eddie and the Arteta comparisons, and we were talking and we were using Anthony Gordon as an example, because we were saying at the time, look, most of the signings that Eddie Howe's made, they've all been successes. I mean, there's probably one signing. I don't want to go down that road right now and start looking at all the different signings that he's made, but I can't really think of that many. I can't think of that many who have been flops at Newcastle, other than maybe a Matthew Target. You know, who else has really been flops? Give me that. Dan Burn is starting to look poor. There is a beautiful goal by Bruno Guimaraes yesterday. Do you see the ball from outside the outside foot? Oh, bro, how did we not sign Bruno Guimaraes? That would have been a game-changing signing for Arsenal. But again, let's not go down that road. Anthony Gordon went missing yesterday. You know what? I didn't fully watch the whole game. Again, I'm so busy throughout the day, and I'm occupied doing other bits and pieces. I've got it in the background. Sometimes I've got my Mac on with one game, my TV with another game, my phone with another game. I've got 3-4 games all on at the same time, bro. You think it's a joke? You think it's a joke? Because I've got other shit to do. I'm working, doing my bits and pieces that I need to do to keep getting that, them way there. So, bro, sometimes it's a manic, man. And I got 2 screens in front of me now. So one game on this one game on this one. It's crazy. It's crazy. Multiple games on at a time, bro. That's how you got to work sometimes, man. So yeah, man, like yesterday, Thriller, Anthony Gordon, in the moments that I saw him in, he looked sharp. He looked like he was on it. And I kind of pick up Eddie Howe. I know he's not really doing that great at the moment, throwing games away like this. Should have been a walk in the park for Newcastle, with all due respect to Luton. They should have at least won the game 2-0, 2-1, maybe 4-2, like they should have. But yeah, man, it's not going right for Eddie Howe at the moment. They're looking at more defenders. I'm not too sure what Newcastle's problem is. Maybe I think it's midfield. Maybe I think it's something in midfield. I need to maybe go back and analyze Newcastle and see what's really going on. Gordon was Newcastle's best player yesterday for sure. So Darth Vader was at the game. He says that. I don't know who said that. I don't know who said that Gordon went missing yesterday. Crazy. People just put it in comments and making me read them. Listen, don't let me start. I won't read your comments, making me read BS, blood. Super chats only, but I'm joking. Newcastle have got a similar starting 11 to us in terms of quality. I just don't know what the problem is for Newcastle. Why do Newcastle find themselves in such a dead position? I actually thought Newcastle were going to be a team to be reckoned with. They lost Tonali. I think that's been a big miss for them. I think Tonali is definitely a big miss. And I think based on that miss, they've lost a lot of control in the middle of the park. They've lost a lot of control in the middle of the park. So maybe that's it. Or maybe they haven't lost control in the middle of the park. And maybe I'm just waffling. Maybe it's something else. Again, I haven't really analyzed Newcastle. Wax's injuries. The injuries have killed them. Tonali is a baller. Yeah, I knew that injuries earlier had affected them. But I thought they might have overcome those injuries now. I'm pretty sure Sven Botman's back from injury, isn't he? Ain't he back from injury? I don't know, man. What I do know is that Newcastle don't find themselves in a really good position at the moment. And it's sad, but it is what it is. And I guess that gives us more of a chance as Arsenal to get something out of this Premier League. But then you say that, you say, oh, when Newcastle ain't doing well, but they'll probably give us a bad boy game and probably beat us or draw against us. Another thing that we have to take from this 4-4 Thriller, between Newcastle and Luton, two teams that have given us difficult games, is that they're scoring goals and we've still got to play them. We've still got to play them. They could give us the same type of performances. They could give us the same type of performances. So I don't know, man. It's a scary league. It's a very, very scary league, and anything can happen. Anything can happen. Newcastle had to throw on Barnes, who's not fully fit, back from injury. That's how bare bones they are. And he scored that bad boy goal. He scored a bad boy goal. Should have gone through the CL and been higher up in the table. Yeah, man. Sad. They finished fourth in their group stages. No European football. If they don't qualify for European football this season, they're pissed. Their project then folds. So literally, Eddie Howe is under pressure. Now, Eddie Howe is under pressure because of the takeover. The takeover puts Eddie Howe under pressure. People are thinking, what? How? Because what's happened with the takeover is the takeover, firstly, for Newcastle means that they got more money to spend, or they've got more money that they can spend, but they need to increase the financial operation before they can start spending it. This is the reason why they've had these restrictions, these financial restrictions. They spent money last season because they've done well. Remember, they finished where did they finish? They finished fourth, didn't they? They finished fourth last season and got themselves into a Champions League. So that allowed Newcastle to increase the value of the operation. So therefore, they can spend bigger money, they can dish out wages, they can renew contracts, give more wages to players, they can do all of that. But if they do that, then just know they can't have a season like they're having now. They can't have a season like they're having now. You can't increase the value of the operation, and then once you do that, the following season, you step backwards. It doesn't make any sense. You've just increased the financial operation. You've just increased our financial commitments. So now we need results. We need Champions League football. We need to finish in the top four. We've just signed Tonali for 70 million, made him one of the highest earning players at the club. Come on, man. We can't operate like you can't operate like that. So on that basis, Eddie Howe will be under immense pressure. And I would expect if Eddie Howe doesn't get European football this season, he gets fired. Now, if Newcastle fire him for that, and I think they would have to, it would be a shame because it's Newcastle. What I wanted to say is Newcastle shouldn't be in a position where they have to fire a manager like Eddie Howe based on the results that they've been achieving. Because what they've been achieving as a football club is what they should be achieving as a football club. I think last season they overachieved. What they're doing now is where they're supposed to be. But what makes it difficult for Newcastle now is that they've increased the operation, the finances behind everything, because they felt the trajectory was going to go, and it hasn't. We've gone backwards. So we're going to have to be ruthless now. And they're probably going to have to fire Eddie Howe if Eddie Howe doesn't get European football at a bare minimum. And when we say European football, they might be able to scrape. They might be able to scrape Europa League without him getting fired. I don't think Conference League would even be good enough. That might be the benchmark. Just there. That's the minimum. That's the bare minimum. So I don't know. But that's how I see it. Remember, this is business as well, ladies and gentlemen. This is business. This isn't about, oh yeah, we can just keep pumping money into a club and we can be hunky-dory, not get the results. No. When you're doing what Newcastle have done, or when you do because what Newcastle aim to do is what Man City done, and they're not trying to do it like Man City by cooking their books over a course of a 3-year period. Remember, when Man City were cooking their books, Man City weren't even in the top 4, bro. Man City were finishing 6th. Man City were finishing 7th. Man City were finishing 6th and 7th, and them areas there when they were cooking their books. Mark Hughes couldn't even really put on a title challenge. They had to go and get Roberto Mancini in to give them that title challenge push, you know? But that 3-year period, that 2.5-3-year period is where Man City were doing X, Y, and Z. And maybe they continue to do X, Y, and Z even after that when Roberto turned up and when they had Pellegrini and when they had all of these different managers that come through. They could have still been doing X, Y, and Z. I don't know, because they've got over 100 allegations, but they were cooking in Mark Hughes' time. Mark Hughes walking through with Robinho. Are you mad? Newcastle are not going to do that. They can't do it if they can't generate results. They need results, man, to balance it all out. Otherwise, they're going to be fucked. Newcastle fans have standards, and their fan base is all right. It's a shame Arsenal fans don't have the same standards. Can we talk about how Sambi is looking? Oh, yes, Sambi. The man they called Bambi. The man they called Bambi, ladies and gentlemen. Sambi Lokonga was actually looking so much more put together at Luton. Didn't really see much of him yesterday. Again, I wasn't really paying attention to the Luton game. I didn't actually expect it to be a thriller. Like I said, I didn't expect the 4 goals or 8 goals. But Sambi Lokonga has definitely been playing well. Everybody's seen the highlights going around of Sambi Lokonga and his passes that he has been making over at Luton. I'm not overly surprised because for me, I've said, look, Sambi Lokonga, he's a good passer of the ball. Sambi Lokonga is a very, very, very good passer of the ball. I saw that at Arsenal. The problems for me with Sambi Lokonga was his positioning. I think with Sambi, one, he was being played out of position. I think Sambi is probably better as an 8. I think Sambi is better as an 8. When we saw Sambi as an 8 in pre-season, Sambi scored. He got on a goal. He got on the score sheet. He looked better with linking up play. He looked actually better with Odegaard. He was more or less playing the Havertz role, if anyone remembers. He did look more better to me. Prior to that, we saw Sambi playing as a 6. And he was playing as a lone 6 in many of those games. You're talking about a player that doesn't have greatest defensive qualities or awareness. You can't expect Sambi Lokonga to be a 6 by himself. You know, if you're going to play him as a deep-lying playmaker, then cool. But you have to put him in a double pivot with someone that has the physical presence and that can also help command the midfield. You can't leave Sambi Lokonga as a lone 6. And that's when you question Mikel Arteta. How did Mikel Arteta play Sambi Lokonga as a lone 6, bro? And the maddest thing is, if we go back and look at the games where he was that naive to play Sambi as a lone 6, yeah? Oh, some of the games are big boy games. Like games where it's like, how did you even make that decision? I can't even remember the teams off the top of my head, but I do remember the games. And for me, Sambi just lacks the awareness. He didn't know where to be. I think it was too much for him, too much pressure for him to be in the center, in a number 6 role by himself with no real support. All he had was Odegaard, a bit of Xhaka, but nothing more than that. And yeah, man, I just felt like he was just, he was buried. He was literally buried. He was sinking. He was drowning, and it wasn't good for him. And then mentally he was affected. Then we had the situation with Eddie Nketiah that probably killed his confidence even more. He must have felt like an idiot after that, especially when everyone started talking about it online and it started going around. Everyone's tweeting it, posting it, X, Y, and Z. People must have thought, yeah, he must have thought, sorry, this is a joke. It killed him, man. It killed him. He come to Arsenal with different aspirations. He come to Arsenal with different expectations. He's been talking recently, Sambi Lokonga, and he obviously says that he doesn't regret moving to Arsenal. He says it's still a big move for him. We're still in his heart. One thing he's actually said is he's had no contact with Mikel Arteta since he's been on loan. He says he hasn't spoken to Mikel Arteta once. To be fair, he got his chance as an 8 and 10, and not consistently though. Yeah, you're probably right, man. We got the Southern Goon says Wax, one of the biggest gripes against Arteta for me is his inability to nurture the best of players, i.e. Lokonga, ESR, etc. That is why I say he should have got his feet wet first. Yeah, like it's you know, when you're looking at players, the quality of players and their development and what we have in the academy and what Mikel Arteta has tried to do or attempted to do, it's just It's very, very questionable, man. It is very, very questionable. And then you can compare it to what other managers have done. And, you know, you can look at their projects. And because some people said, oh, well, the project, it wasn't, you know, we wanted to bang basically, and we can't rely on young players. And come on, man, it's so conflicting when we have these conversations, because 1 minute we're being told it's Project Youth, next thing we're being told, oh, we can't rely on youngers. Then we're being told, oh, let the youngers develop. Then we're like, oh, well, if the youngers make a mistake, then look how the Arsenal fans will treat them. And it's like everything's just conflicting. Everything's just all over the place. Everything's just muffled, confusing, jarring, and everyone's lost in the information. Everyone's lost. You know them way there. But ultimately, the ones that are not lost, the ones that are wide awake like me, can look into what's going on here and say, Mikel Arteta doesn't believe in the youngers. Mikel Arteta, the Project Youth was never about playing a young team. Let me tell you that Project Youth was never about playing a young team. The idea behind Project Youth was about finding young players and selling them for a profit. The Project Youth idea was never about, oh, what we're going to do is we're going to design the youngest squad. That's never what it was about. The reason we went down that route is because Mikel Arteta realized that experienced players didn't respect him. So he needed younger players or a younger profile of players, so it would be easier for him to micro and man manage the player. So that was one of the reasons we went down that route. But ultimately, the reason why we had a meeting and we decided that Project Youth was the way forward for us wasn't because we're going to deploy bunch of young players, or not because we were going to find young gems and turn them into the next Fabregas or the next Van Persie or whatever it may be. The focus was always about self-sustainability. Self-sustainability. It was a smokescreen. There we go. There we go. There we go. It was a smokescreen. The Project Youth, the real reason behind Project Youth was because Arsenal were focusing on bringing players in to sell them for a profit. Lokonga is one of those players. Let me tell you that now. When they signed Lokonga for 18.5 million, I don't think they looked at Lokonga as a player that was going to come in and be this superstar. I thought they looked at Lokonga as a way of potentially making money. 18 million for a player that could potentially be sold in the next 2 years for 35, 40 million to Edu and Arteta looked like good business. Based on what he's doing at Luton, they might be able to achieve that target. They might be able to achieve that goal that they set out initially. Because trust me, I'm telling you, Lokonga was not brought to Arsenal to be a player for the future or to be a starting player. The reason why we used him over a period of time was to help generate value, but also because we needed him. But ultimately, the focus for Lokonga was to buy him, to sell him on. The focus for Nuno Tavares was to buy him, to sell him on. These were not players that we were looking to develop and turn into the best left back or the best centre back or the best. Do you understand? So that's what Project Youth has been about, ladies and gentlemen. Another reason why you can come to that conclusion is because if you go back to 2020 and 2021, go and look how many young players Arsenal actually signed. We were signing bare young players. We were signing players for about that at the age of 21 years old. These guys are 21, 22. And I'm thinking, why are Arsenal signing these dons? Why are we signing this guy from Rwanda? Why are we signing X, Y, and Z? I mean, the Rwanda one was BS, obviously. We do know that. What's his name again? What was his name? That was to generate a bit of revenue, generate a bit of support, a bit of sponsorship. That's all that was. I think it was George Lewis. Was George Lewis the Rwanda one? Remember George Lewis? Is it George Lewis or Lewis George or something like that? I mean, all these dons got brought in for what? Because the intentions behind it was, oh, actually, we can make 500 grand off this don. Yeah, we can. I can send Lewis George out on loan, or George Lewis, whatever his name is. George Lewis, I think it is. I can send him out on loans to 3-4 different clubs, and I can take 350k off each club. The guy is only on a 2k a week contract. Yeah, like, are you getting the picture now, guys? Are you getting the picture? So yeah, man, that's all Arsenal were focused. That's what Project Youth was all about. It was just about finding young players that they can sell for a profit to help with the self-sustainable project that we are running at Arsenal Football Club. But yeah, Sambi Lokongi, definitely one of those players. Sambi Lokonga, definitely one of those players. Has done extremely well at Luton. Does he have a future at Arsenal Football Club? Remains to be seen. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think he's going to be gone. He might get his chance to impress in the summer when we go on a season tour. But ultimately, I think he's going to be sold. Okay, 2 more games to quickly touch on. We have Brighton and Crystal Palace. They played yesterday. We had Brighton beat Crystal Palace 4-1. It's shocking for Crystal Palace at this moment in time, man. Shocking for Crystal Palace. It looks like Crystal Palace, they could get relegated, man. We're going to look at the Premier League table in a minute. I don't know where Crystal Palace find themselves on the table, but they're conceding a lot of goals. They're not the team that they were under Patrick Vieira. They sacked Patrick Vieira because it did go sideways for a minute. They've brought in Roy Hodgson, who I think is a piss take. I honestly think sacking Patrick Vieira and bringing in Roy Hodgson back is a piss take. It's not a piss take because of like sacking. I'm not even talking about sacking Patrick Vieira at this point. I'm actually talking about bringing Roy Hodgson back. If you felt that Patrick Vieira wasn't the guy, cool. Go and get a manager that you feel is the guy. But Roy Hodgson's obviously not the guy, is he? And I understand the connection that Roy Hodgson has with Crystal Palace. I get it. But one thing we have to take into consideration here is Roy Hodgson is a legend in the football game. We have to give him those flowers. But he's old. He's old, man. And you look at Roy, and I feel sorry for him, bro. You can't put him through that, bro. Like Crystal Palace owners, yeah, whatever your name is, yeah, look in the mirror, bro. That is so disrespectful to actually bring Roy Hodgson back. The guy was living life, man. Doing whatever he was doing. Doing whatever he was doing in Spain. I don't know, living life. Him and his wife. The guy looks like he's on his deathbed, with all due respect to him. I hope that's not the case, bro. But you can't stress these old men out. You're bringing an old man into a job where you got a toxic and negative dressing room. You got an owner that's not even backing the project. He's at every single game. You have to pick up the owner at Crystal Palace. He's at every single game. He cares about the club. But for whatever reason, he doesn't have the finances to really back a manager and take him to that next level. Sometimes you have to just settle for being at mid-table club, or settle for being at 15th club or the 14th club. But I feel like they've disrespected Roy Hodgson. And the other day, what really upset me when we battered them 5-0 was seeing Roy Hodgson have to stand there and watch all those banners. Watch all those banners. He doesn't deserve that. Roy Hodgson doesn't deserve that, guys. No way. That's out of order, bro. Yeah? He can be everyone's great granddad. Yeah, this guy is super duper old. And he doesn't deserve that. So on the basis of that taking place, I think Roy Hodgson should just resign. I think Roy Hodgson should say, you know what, guys, I can't do this job anymore. Let's keep it stepping and leave it to the owners. And then I think the owners ultimately need to sell the football club. They need to sell the football club. Otherwise, the fans, you're never going to get what you want. You're never going to get a team that's actually trying to grow or trying to compete or trying to challenge or trying to do whatever you want them to do, because the owner's just not suited. He's just not suited for it. He's not suited for it. That's it, man. He's just not suited, bro. And the game yesterday was just embarrassing. 4-1 to Brighton. You had Lewis Dunk, another young player, scoring for Brighton. Jack Hinshelwood. João Pedro also scoring for them, and Facundo Buonete. Brighton, another team proving to actually believe in their academy. I really like the teams that believe in their academy. I really like the teams that actually go out of their way to promote their academy products. Big up Don Carlo in the building. We've got some real winners in the building. The real ones. Boy, this is what I'm saying, man. Free Roy. Free Roy all day long, man. I feel sorry for Roy. I've got a lot of empathy, and I've got a lot of I can have a lot of sympathy as well. And when I look at Roy, I feel like, nah, man, you can't be doing him like that. Nah, man, you can't be doing him like that. You can't be doing him. You need to allow him. You need to allow him, bro. The fact that you sacked Patrick Vieira and brought Roy Hodgson back, you don't deserve to be the owner. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. You violated, bro. You violated. Every Crystal Palace fan should be super duper pissed right now, protesting outside Selhurst Park, all of that type of stuff. Just get rid of that owner. Your owner's not the man. He's not the guy. He's not the guy, man. He's going to keep letting you man down, and that's what it is. Brighton, on the other hand, they got a good owner, generating a lot of money. We've put money in their pocket, as we do know. And that's what I'm saying. Roy is like WWE, wheeling at Ric Flair. Exactly, bro. You can't do it, man. Can't do it anymore, bro. Can't do that, man. But Brighton, different type of team, good owner, a lot of money stacked up from players that they've sold. They've got a great academy, producing great players. They've got a great scouting network at Brighton. They've got an eye for talent. They keep finding gems left, right, and centre. We've been linked with Matoma recently. I think he's been underwhelming for Brighton. I'm not overly keen on Matoma, but he was, a special one last season. He had a fantastic season. But Brighton, as a whole, keep finding these young players for cheap, and they're making crazy amounts of money from them. What it is for Brighton right now is they need to put themselves in a position where they can increase the financial operation. Based on the amount of money they've been receiving on player sales, it probably allows them to increase that financial operation. It allows them to say, all right, cool, we've just made, I don't know, 400, 500 million through player sales. We can actually put 200, 300 million back in. The only problem Brighton are going to have with that is if results don't go their way the following season or the following 2 seasons after that, it could be detrimental. And FFP are not a joke. They're not a joke, man. This is what I'm saying. You have to really balance. Bro, running a football club is extremely hard, man. It is actually hard, especially when you've got incompetent bus drivers. So, yeah, man. They can increase their financial operation because they've alleviated a lot of pressure. They've sold a number of players, but it's about getting the results. If they can't get results, and it's when you think about the competition that you've got in the Premier League at the moment, there is no guarantees of it, is there? Like, you could have a one good season and the following season you could be absolutely shit. Newcastle have proven, not, I wouldn't say absolutely shit, but in comparison to what they were last season, they're not the same team. They're not the same team. Newcastle had the best defensive record last season in the league. Best defensive record, and the season prior to that. Bro, Newcastle have already lost about 11 games. So far, 11 games. Crazy. Anyhow, this is what, anyhow, mad thing. This is what it is. So with Brighton are looking at it from a lens where, all right, cool, we can increase the financial operation, but do we need to? Or can we just patiently wait for results to consistently be where we need them to be before we say, all right, cool, there you go, whoever the manager is, there's 100 million, spend that on one player. Spend 80 million on one player. Do you know what I mean? They have to think smart, man. This is how businesses have to work in the football world, man. But you got to respect Brighton's hustle 110%, man. Big up my guy, Darth, man. You got to respect it. They have done extremely well. Probably one of the most run clubs in the Premier League. Right, so according to Arteta, there will be goals. I hope it's not against us. And that's what I was saying earlier, man. He said, I expect goals. I was like, expect goals from who? Arsenal or from Liverpool? Because Liverpool have scored 16 goals in their last 5 games. I want to talk about the Liverpool game, Liverpool and Arsenal game after this last game that I'm going to talk about now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move on from Brighton and Crystal Palace. Sad time for Crystal Palace fans. Good day for Brighton fans. We'll obviously look at the Premier League to really determine where everybody is at as well. But The last team that we were going to talk about that played yesterday was who was it? It was Burnley and Fulham. All right, this is going to be real quick. Burnley and Fulham were the last game that we haven't spoken about from yesterday's Premier League fixtures. The games that we have got today, kicking off in 1 hour, basically. Man United, West Ham, Chelsea, Wolves, Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest, and then we kick off at 4:30. The big one. But let's just quickly touch on Burnley and Fulham. I didn't even know. What? So I'm just looking at that. Fofana, on loan from Chelsea, scored 2 goals against Fulham. Interesting. Pardon me. There's been a lot of talk surrounding this guy Fofana. A lot of talk surrounding this guy Fofana. A lot of people have been saying he's one to watch, one for the future. Chelsea have signed a gem, blah, blah, blah. He's gone to Burnley, scored 2 goals. I'm not too sure if this is his debut or how many games he's actually played for Burnley. I did see the announcement a few weeks ago that he was joining Burnley. But to score 2 goals, well done. Fulham have been a team that have had a good season as well. Under Marco Silva, they've been pretty interesting since they've been re-promoted. Find themselves more or less in the top half of the table, or literally like on the waistline. They're on the waistline. They've been sitting on that waistline ever since they've been promoted. They lost their key striker, who went to Dubai, went to Saudi Arabia. Mitrovic. Lost a few players, actually. Fulham have lost 1 or 2 key players. What's his name again? Went to a team in France. What's his name? Their centre-back. Who's their centre-back's name? Or did they sell him? I remember seeing him go into a team in France. Can't remember who. What's his name again? Is it Tossin? Is that guy Tossin still there? What a name. So yeah, Fulham have been a decent team, but this is a good result for Burnley being at home. Someone that is struggling in the Premier League this season, as we've seen, destined for relegation. Only 13 points so far this season. I think they're about 7, 8, 9 points behind. 17th. It's really difficult for them. They need to get back-to-back wins in order to get themselves out of this mess. I never saw this coming for Burnley. I have to be honest. I thought Company winning the championship was going to come into the Premier League and do bits, but it hasn't been the case, man. Hasn't been the case, and I don't know what's wrong. Is it because he hasn't been able to adapt his football to the Premier League? Can we say that Vincent Kompany has been naive to continue to play the same type of football that he was playing to win the championship in last season? Because I would say it's a bit naive, but you don't want to change what made you successful. You might have to make some tweaks. There's always tweaks that need to be made, but when you have a blueprint and you know how that blueprint works, and you've deployed it and it's worked and you've won with it, you start being a bit arrogant, you start being a bit naive, and you tell yourself, listen, I don't want to change it. I don't want to change it. I feel like we can continue to run like that. That's where I feel like Company's gone wrong. I feel Kompany needs to change what he's doing. Tossin is still at Fulham. Okay, he's still there. I remember seeing him being heavily linked with maybe Monaco or something like that in the summer. I thought he might have left, but I'm wrong. So yeah, Kompany needed to switch it up. He needed to do something a bit different. I do like the way they do play football, especially their midfielders. They've got decent players, a bunch of young players at Burnley. But yeah, man, just hasn't gone to plan. And they need to do something different in order to kind of get out of the mess that they find themselves in. Otherwise, they're finished. But this Fofana signing looks like it could be a good signing for them if they continue with finding the back of the net, and this guy can do that, then maybe there's something for them at the end of this season. Maybe they can overcome this problem. But when we look at the table, which we're going to look at now, I just don't see it happening for them. I don't see it happening for them. It's going to be extremely difficult for Burnley to stay in this league. Let's quickly switch over to the Premier League table. Make sure we are hitting the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get over 50 likes on this video. Do appreciate every single one of you. Make sure we're just hitting that like button, subscribing, all of that type of stuff, man. Share the video, all of that type of stuff, man. All of that. Come on, all of that. Pep's disciples looking real fraudulent, bro. Everyone, you know what it is? Everyone thinks they can be Pep. Everyone thinks they can be, not everyone, but everyone. You know what I mean? Like, everyone thinks they can be Pep. Well, like, stop it. Be you, man. Just be you. Do what you can do. If Pep's inspired you, cool. If you've learned 1 or 2 things from Pep, or 3, 4, 5 things from Pep, cool. Take them with you. Make them your own. Tweak them. But stop acting like you're Pep. You got Vincent Kompany trying to play Pep tactics. You got Arteta literally trying to play Pep tactics as well as think he's Pep in real life. Man, he carries himself like he's Pep in press conferences, the way he talks. People say, oh, no, it's just the Spanish. No. He's been around Pep. He's picked up on Pep's personality, bro. He's picked up on Pep's personality and he's tried to adopt it as if it's his own. As well as, having his own characteristics as well and the way he would do stuff. He's picked up a lot from Pep. And he's molded that into his own profile, and here we have it. We've got Mikel Pepta. Want to call him that? Is it Pepta? Mikel Pepta. Mikel Arteta Pepta. I don't know, man. But the league right now is interesting. Very, very interesting league right now. We're just looking at Liverpool sitting at the top. If they get their win today, that puts them 7 points, 8 points, 8 points ahead of Arsenal. 8 points ahead of Arsenal if they beat us today, man. 8 points. There's no way Arsenal are catching Liverpool 8 points behind and getting 2 to 3 points more at the end of the season than what Liverpool are going to finish on. It's not happening. It is not happening. I don't even see Arsenal doing it now, just being 5 points behind. We're 5 points behind now. I just don't see Liverpool dropping 5 points and Arsenal getting 5 points plus another 5 points to be in front of Liverpool. Like, you see how the way Man City done it to us? Like, that Liverpool ain't going to allow that to happen to them. What happened to us last season is not going to happen to Liverpool this season. You know, no way there. It's not going to happen to us this season, bro. It's not going to happen to them this season, sorry. Come on, man. We were 7 points ahead of Man City. 7 points. 7 points ahead of Man City to actually then finish 5 points behind them. Wow. That difference is mad. Especially when that 7 point gap was at the end of January. It was at the end of January. No. That is mad. That is extremely mad, ladies and gentlemen. That can't run. Big up my guy Joe in the building. Says, lit again, wax. Sorry, fella. Been decorating my back room, hoping for a win today, but I'm not confident. I hope all the decorating is going well, my guy. I've been in the process of doing all the same thing as well, man. I had to give someone my old bed today. I got a new bed a little while ago. About 2 months ago, I had my old bed sitting in my passage for ages and finally gave it to someone today. But yeah, man, decorating, trying to do bits and pieces. This room that I'm in right now is next as well. New lick of paint in here. We're going to go lighter in here. You know what I mean? Going to be going lighter in here. Getting a whole media wall installed in here. Yeah, man, we're going overboard, man. All new furniture, X, Y, and Z. Love a bit of decorating sometimes. 51 likes, ladies and gentlemen. Jeez, we've hit that 50 like mark, but let's get more likes, ladies and gentlemen. More likes, please. We was 8 points, bro. Oh, yeah, that's even worse. It's even worse. 8 points. 8 points. Crazy, man. So yeah, man, the league right now is looking interesting. I don't see Arsenal winning the title. I don't see Arsenal getting anywhere near winning the title. I think this is a Man City Liverpool race. I think even Aston Villa could do more than what Arsenal are going to do this season. I'll be so angry if Tottenham and Aston Villa finish above Arsenal this season. But based on the points, we can see that happening. You got 46, 46, and 44. Like, how can we be on the same amount of points as Aston Villa? Like, it really doesn't. It boggles me. It boggles me. Like it doesn't make any sense. We're on the same points as Aston Villa. Like, did we necessarily need? Like, we spent 650 million, bro. We spent 650 million. Unai Emery's come in. He's on a it's. You know what it is. You know what that shows you. I have to tell you this again. This is why I'm going to tell you this again. I'm going to tell you again for the guys that don't actually know. The process that Arsenal have been under over the past 6 years has been a scam. Scam. Okay? Scam. We have been scammed into the process. If anyone doesn't see it right now, then I don't know what's going to make you see it. If anyone can't see it right now, I don't know what's going to make you see it. But the process, the process, the program that we've been under by a manager that kind of advises his players to share wives, by owners that are billionaires in American and probably a part of some sort of mind programming technique. Flipping, I don't know. Bro, it's been a scam. That's all it's been, ladies and gentlemen. Arsenal should have never, in the past 6 years, only finished second once and now be in contention with Aston Villa for a top 4 race. A manager that we sacked because he was deemed not good enough, with a bunch of players that were deemed not good enough. And it's so mad because I was watching highlights of Arsene Wenger's last season. I was watching highlights of Unai Emery's first season. I can't believe that we actually went through a process and said we actually believed. We actually told ourselves that those players were negative and toxic. I just can't believe it, man. I can't believe it. I can't believe we mind programmed ourselves to believe that the players that Mikel Arteta inherited were negative and toxic. That is crazy, man. Can you imagine how the Aston Villa fans must have felt about the players that Unai Emery inherited? They must have been negative and toxic, boy. Their man was sitting 16th in the league, bro. That team needed ripping apart. Like, if you think about, like, if you use the logic that Arsenal fans have allowed themselves to be manipulated by, right, and now they are adapting that and using that for themselves to kind of make themselves feel better, to give themselves understanding, to give themselves reassurance, then wow, can you imagine how the Aston Villa fans must have felt about the team that Unai Emery inherited? Whoa, that whole team needed to be ripped up and chucked in the bin, and Unai Emery needed his own players. He needed his own players, bro. He needed his, them way there. Let's be real now. But you know what? No one's going to use the same program for Unai Emery. And that's right. It's a program that people have bought into. People have bought into a program where they felt, or they were made to believe, shall I say, that our players that Mikel Arteta inherited were negative and toxic. I can't believe it, man. I can't believe it. And even some of the ex-pros, some of the pundits, they're pushing that same narrative. I mean, we're over that narrative now. We've moved on from it. But when we go back to that time, and when we talk about it, we have to talk about it because that time would always be used as a comparison and a measurement for where we are now and what football's like now. What's life like at Arsenal now in comparison to what it was like when Unai Emery was the manager. So trust me, man, it's been a scam. It's been a big scam, And I wish it wasn't. I wish the owners come out and said, you know what? We're not going to do this to our fans. We're not going to do this to our fans. So you know what, Mr. Mikel Arteta? Sorry, but 650 million spent, 4 years, 4.5 years into your process. We need the Premier League by the end of the season. If you can't deliver that, sorry, my friend, we're sacking you. That's the only way. That is the only way KSE will convince me otherwise. That's it. It's the only way they convince me. If KSC do not deliver on what I've just said, if things don't go the way they need to go, then just know that KSC are all about programming a bunch of people to make you customers or make us customers. They don't care about winning trophies. They don't care about winning the Premier League. They don't care about any of that. You know them way there. That's it, man. So it's either KSC show us this season that they are ruthless and mean business, or it tells us the story. It tells us what we already know, or what most of us already believe, that we are just a part of a program and that they are selling our history to keep us relevant. But really and truly, we don't actually care about being the major honor or being the major club, not the major honor. We don't, or the major honor. We don't care about being the major honor. We don't care about being the major club. We don't care about winning those major honors. You know, it's got so low. It's got so low for Arsenal that we don't even care about winning our traditional cup, the FA Cup. The FA Cup belongs to Arsenal. I know the Emirates means nothing to us or to the FA. The FA. The Emirates is literally basically what we done with our training ground. We gave the Emirates the right to name the competition, to name our stadium. That was all for money. All for money. But this is the season, as I was saying, ladies and gentlemen, where we are able to see if these guys are serious. Do they mean business, or are they just a part of the problem? And that problem is just literally keeping fans financially invested, regardless of the results, regardless of what happens. What we'll do is we'll buy a dog. We'll buy these guys a dog. We're gonna buy a cat next. We're gonna buy a whole basket full of kittens, and we're gonna go outside the Emirates Stadium, and we're gonna be, oh, look at our new kittens. You know, I don't know, man. I just want guys to be serious, bro. That's all I want, man. I want these guys to be serious. Rizzo says KSC will not get an elite manager, nor do they buy superstar players, always going for second best in the market, hoping it turns into gold. But, you know, FA Cups was made for us. That's what I'm saying. And it just goes to show you that these guys don't care. If these guys actually cared, do you really think Mikel Arteta would have had pressure applied to him about getting knocked out of the third and fourth rounds of those FA Cups? People will then say, okay, but we got beat by Liverpool and Man City, so come on, man. Hey, you know what? I respect that. Liverpool and Man City in those rounds are going to be difficult. But did we get knocked out by Liverpool and Man City the round before that? No, we didn't. We got knocked out by Nottingham Forest, who actually wasn't even in the Premier League at the time. So don't tell me about Liverpool and Man City. You know, don't tell me about Liverpool and Man City. Tell me about what we can do to overcome those third and fourth round problems that we've been facing under this manager. What do we do? Because our traditions say that we win the FA Cup the most. We get the furthest in that competition. Why is that not happening under this regime? And then why is the owners not looking at that and saying, hey, all right, cool, we ain't won the Premier League in 20 years, but that doesn't mean you can't get to the fucking FA Cup final every single season, bro. That means you can't actually keep up to the standards of actually winning an FA Cup every 3 to 4 years, bro. Put them way there, because that's what we're known for. And I don't want to be an FA Cup team. I actually want to be the team that win the major honor. And FA Cup is a major honor. It's a major English honor, right? But when we're talking about major honors, we're talking about the Premier League and the Champions League. There's nothing else that's major, in my opinion. I want to be winning those trophies, but at the same time, you can't be saying, oh, well, in a Carabao Cup and an FA Cup doesn't mean shit, because over the years, every 3 to 4 years, we make sure we're winning FA Cup. That's been the case under Arsene Wenger. He kept those traditions. So you got to respect that. You know, at least we had something that we could win. This manager's given us nothing to win because he's knocking us out of all those competitions early. So owners, you need to start looking at that. Arteta doesn't even get second best. He buys rejects. I mean, obviously, Declan Rice, if you look at the signings that he has made, Declan Rice, Odegaard, Gabriel Magalhaes, and Thomas Partey. Zinchenko and, Gabriel Jesus. I think they've been his best signings. Everything else has been underwhelming. That's 6 signings, bro. That's 6 signings in 4 years. Everything else has been underwhelming. So I'll name you those players again. And I mean, even Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus have been poor this season. Let's be totally honest. So where do they really fall on the spectrum? Jesus, Zinchenko, Odegaard, Gabriel Magalhaes, Thomas Partey, Declan Rice. They're the only signings that we can actually say are deemed good enough for Arsenal Football Club. There are some other questionable signings that could be put into that category, but maybe haven't done enough to deserve to be put in that category. I mean, even Odegaard, to a degree, might even be on a cusp of falling out of the category because he's gone missing this season. But Ben White, Ramsdale, Tommy Yasu, they're not in that category of being, they're in the category underneath where there's still a chance of them being in that category, but I'm not going to put them in that category just yet. I reckon there would have been better players out there than them that we could have signed for maybe even cheaper. Tommy Yasu was an exception, but you know what I mean? So questionable signings, man. Questionable signings. Only about 6 signings you can say under Arteta have been, you know what I mean? Signings that you could say, yeah, I would have made that. I would have made that happen. I would have made that. I would have signed Decky because I would have signed Decky. I would have signed Jesus. I would have signed Zinchenko. I would have signed Gabriel Magalhaes. In fact, I told you, man, about Gabriel Magalhaes a whole year before Arteta signed him. I scouted Gabriel Magalhaes personally when we signed Nicolas Pepe. So I was fully familiar with Gabriel Magalhaes. I thought he was a commanding centre-back. And I'll even try and find all the old streams that I've done. I've privated a lot of videos, and there's a reason for that as well. But I private a lot of videos, old videos, like ones that I started in the beginning. Nothing to do with any takes or anything like that for anyone that tries to get at me, bro. But it was for other reasons. Financial reasons, in fact, if anyone wants to know. Man, don't know. You just learn, the little trick. Learn a little trick. You get more money out of it, right? But anyway, so again, you're looking at the signings that Mikel Arteta has made. You can't really say all of them have been banging. Only 6 of them I would personally say I am signing all 6 of you. The others, I'm thinking, I don't think I would have signed you. I probably wouldn't have signed Ben White. I probably wouldn't have signed Aaron Ramsdale. I probably wouldn't have signed. I definitely wouldn't have signed Havertz. I might have signed Fabio Vieira. Me personally, but I wouldn't have signed Willian. I wouldn't have signed Runnison. I wouldn't have signed any of those dons that we can mention there. If we're looking at the latest dons, I wouldn't have signed David Raya. I wouldn't have signed him. Trying to think of the signings that we've made. I wouldn't have signed Lukonga. I wouldn't have signed Nuno Tavares. You get my picture anyway. You get my point, bro. You get my point. Tommy Yasu is a shout out too, bro, for a player bought for 14, 15 million. Yeah, it's like 18 million we paid for him. Look, for me, I would put Tommy Yasu in the 6 that I've mentioned, but the reason I haven't put Tommy Yasu in the 6 is because, for one, Tommy Yasu hasn't been consistent enough, and for 2, Tommy Yasu has been an injury-prone don to the point where I can't even remember what type of player Tommy Yasu is anymore. I'm sorry. That's where it is for Tomiyasu, you know? So, yeah, man. All right, I've got to wrap this up soon, but this has like been over an hour and a half, and I do need to shoot off and go and see my mum for a little while before I actually come back and watch the football. Come on, come on. Big Arsenal and Liverpool game today, ladies and gentlemen. Big Arsenal game today. Make sure we are hitting the like button if you're excited for this game. We will be doing a panel reaction after the game as well. So make sure you join us for that. I will be doing a reaction as usual as well, as I usually do. But we will be doing a panel reaction where everyone can get themselves involved. Hold on one sec, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, no worries, no worries, no worries, no worries. Yeah, I got to shoot off to my mum in a minute. So let me talk about this last game. Arsenal and Liverpool, the big one. Did want to run through this Premier League table, but we probably know what the table's looking like right now. We've got Luton 16th doing extremely well. I think they're in a good position, 20 points. They need to keep winning, obviously. Otherwise, they'll fall into that 18th gap and, could see themselves in a relegation battle. Same with Nottingham Forest. Brentford as well, surprisingly. Look, Brentford are on a cusp of actually falling into a relegation battle. Well, Brentford could be a surprise relegation team at this season. They've got a few injuries. Ivan Toney's back now, been scoring in all the games that he's played so far. I think he's only played 2. But they could fight. Right, they're in 11 losses so far for Thomas Frank this season. It's crazy. But they're 22 points, man. They can fall in. They got Crystal Palace that can also fall in, 14th. Bournemouth have kind of redeemed themselves slightly. They went on a losing streak at the beginning of the season. They were just losing their games, had a new manager, wasn't working out for them. And they turned it around. They got one win, and then that one win kind of had a domino effect for them. And they started getting more wins and more draws. So good, big up Bournemouth, man. They're doing their thing. Fulham still sitting around the same position that they've been sitting in since they've come to the Premier League. They're sitting in 12th. I think last season they finished 10th. And then you got Wolves just outside the 10th, just outside the top 10. Now, the top 10 is really interesting. And I did say to you guys last season, the Premier League will become a top 10 now. It's not top 4. It's not top 6. It's not even top 8. It's top 10 now. And I did say that at the beginning of the season. We got my guy Nathan Hawthorne in the building. We need this dub. Come on, my brother. We need this dub, man. Appreciate you each and every time. Hope the family are doing well. So, like I said, it's a top 10 now, man. It's a top 10. It isn't a top 4. Top 4, top 5 gives you Champions League football, yeah. And top 8 or top 7 gives you European football. I think it's top 8 now gives you European football. But ultimately, it's a top 10 league. And if you look at the teams in the top 10 right now, any one of them can beat you, bruv. Any one of those top 10 can beat Arsenal. Arsenal can beat any one of those top 10. Any one of those top 10 can beat West Ham, and West Ham can beat any one of those top 10. Any one of those top 10 can beat Chelsea, and any one of those top 10, and Chelsea can beat any one of those top 10. Like, that's this top 10 right now. Not everyone's in the best of positions. Like, Chelsea might not be in the best of positions. This is the worst season I've seen Chelsea have in decades, yeah? I get all of that. But the point we're making here is about the top 10 and the quality that we have in this top 10. Forget about the bottom 10. The top 10 is incredible. The top 10 is incredible. We've already said over the past couple of weeks, right, that we here at Arsenal will take West Ham's attack. We will take West Ham's midfield. We've said the same thing recently about some players at Tottenham. We've said the same thing about players at Aston Villa, players at Brighton, players at Newcastle. These are the top 10 is incredible now, man. Wax got his spot on still, bruv. The top 10 is incredible now. It's like mental. Anyone can beat anyone. You don't even want to talk about the bottom 10. But this makes it extremely difficult now. And you're like, raw, man. Like, who would have thought? Who would have thought that? Like, who would have thought 15 years ago that in the next 15 years, Man United and Tottenham, not Man United and Tottenham, yeah, we knew that. We definitely knew that. But who would have thought 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that in the future of 15 years, Tottenham, Why do I keep saying Tottenham, bro? Why have I got Tottenham on my brain, bro? What's going on? Chelsea and Man United will be just a top 10 team. Like, who would have ever thought? Who would have ever thought that 15 years ago you would have said, guys, in 15 years time, Chelsea and Man United, they're going to become a top 10 team. You know what? Top 10 team? Are you mad? Top 10 teams, bruv. All of us would have thought that in years to come, Man United and Chelsea will still be dominating the league. Dominating. They've got the money. The money hasn't changed. That's increased. They've got more money. We know Chelsea have got money. But who would have ever thought that these men would just be top 10 teams now? Because that's what Chelsea, this season, that's what Chelsea are going to establish themselves on as. Chelsea can't be in the top 6 conversation anymore after this season. Chelsea can't be in the top 4 conversation after this season. You are now guaranteed, factually, top 10 team. Big you up, my guy. Nothing but love and respect. I want to wrap this up in about 5 minutes anyway, G, man. Much appreciate you tuning in, but it's been like an hour and 45 minutes almost. We love these streams. It's Sunday. We're vibes in. Arsenal and Liverpool. Big one. But yeah, now no one will ever have thought this, man. No one will ever have thought this. It's crazy. Chelsea and Man United both becoming top 10 teams. It's crazy. And like I said, Chelsea. This is the season where Chelsea actually established himself as a top 10 team. They can't be top 4, top 6 conversation anymore. I don't care about how much money you got. I don't care about what players you've got. You're a top 10 team now. But anyway, let's move on to the big one. Just want to quickly touch on Liverpool and Arsenal. This is going to be a very, very interesting game. I do expect a lot of goals. Mikel Arteta expects goals, as we've already stated. It's going to be what channel is it going to be on? Let's have a look. It's going to be on Sky Sports. Lovely. Bit of Sky Sports. And it's going to be a very, very interesting game. Obviously, we don't know what the lineup's going to be just yet, which I did know. But one thing I do know is Arsenal need to get a result. Arsenal need a result out of this. We can't draw. We can't lose. Otherwise, title is done. Darwin Noodles is going to be a major, major threat for Liverpool. He has been a major threat for Liverpool over the past couple of games. He has been scoring. He's been scoring loads of goals. He's been scoring loads of goals. He's actually been getting a lot of GA. I think he's on like 20 GA so far for this season. Let me just double check Darwin Noodles. Darwin Noodles. He's got to be called Darwin Noodles, man. How many GAs he got for this season? I'm pretty sure it's 20, isn't it? I think he's on 20 already. All right, he's on 14 in the Premier League so far. So Darwin Noodles has got 14 GA in 21 games. Now that's not too bad, bro. That's a good return. That is a really good return. 14 GA in 21 games. If we're looking at all competitions, he's 14. He's done well. He's done well, man. He's done well. He's actually done well. He's got over 20 GA so far this season. So Darwin Noodles is definitely one to watch. But if we look at the last game he played, he was kind of he had bare chances. He had the most chances for Liverpool. He was just hitting them all over the place. Crossbar. Darwin Noodles has hit the crossbar. You know how many times it's Don's hit the crossbar so far this season? Darwin Noodles. Right, Darwin Noodles, yeah. He's hit the crossbar. I think he's hit the crossbar 14 times. Or the woodwork, not the crossbar. He's hit the woodwork 14 times this season. He squanders mad chances. This is what I'm saying. And another thing about Darwin Noodles, he's got a heavy first touch. Look, the last time we played them, William Saliba, he bagged him. But second half, Klopp outsmarted Arteta. He put Darwin Noodles on the right. He put Diaz on the left. He switched it. And they won the game. They won the game on that switch. Darwin Noodles started exploiting our left back. I think we had Kivior at left back. Kivior or Zinchenko, either one. Either one's getting exploited, you know, them way there. So, because you know that Nunez he's got ball ability. I think his first touch is a bit poor, but he's got ball ability. He's got ability on the ball. He can run. He can dribble. He can be sloppy, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I rate. I don't know where I don't came from. There's no don't there. I rate Darwin Noodles. He's a raw talent. Big up my guy Black's in the building. He says Nunez is still young. Let him live and learn. Nunez is not a number 9. Nunez is not a number 9. Way better on the wing. Okay. Yeah, I mean he can play as a number 9, but I think he's one of those strikers that like to drift out to the channels, isn't it? He likes to drift out wide, and then he likes to make those diagonal runs. If you actually look at him, if you go and watch him from Benfica, that's how he scored a lot of his goals. He scored a lot of his goals from making diagonal runs. Bruv, I swear to God, when he played for Benfica, I was watching him and I was saying, yeah, I want him. I want Darwin Noodles. I want him at Arsenal. I want him. Scoring 20+ goals, I want him. I was looking at his play, and the reason why I wanted him as well, not only because of the GA that he was putting up in Portugal, but it's because of the way he was scoring his goals, and a lot of his goals were coming off the channel. So I was thinking, maybe he would do good in that Martinelli role. Coming off, playing on that left-hand side, switching on his right foot, bang. But one thing I did notice when he was at Benfica is that he had a really poor first touch. But in that league, it didn't affect him as much because he was getting a lot of time on the ball. So his first touch didn't affect him that much. But, when you're coming to the Premier League and you've got better players, it's more intensified, more pace. You need to make sure your first touch is on point. Darwin started football late as well. I don't even know, man. Ben White and Zinchenko, man, I'm worried, man. Nunez, Gakpo, or Jota can play on left wing over White rather than White. Luis Diaz v Zinchenko. Either one is going to be It's going to be tricky, very tricky, man. Very, very tricky. They got runners, they got movers, they got players that know how to pick up the right space. As we said at the beginning of the stream, Liverpool are the fastest attacking team in the league. They're number 1 in the league for the fastest attacking team. Arsenal, Man City, and Burnley find themselves in the bottom 3. Bottom 3. So, yeah. Seems like Pep Guardiola football isn't the greatest after all, is it? You're right with the goals, Wax, that Darwin creates in Benfica. That was the case. Yeah, like from Benfica, he was always moving to the left channel, cutting in, coming inside, making those runs in behind, but from the channel, from the left channel or even the right channel. And it was just like, we've seen it before. It's just standard stuff. It's nothing complicated, right? But he was just putting them off. He was putting them off, and he was scoring some good goals, and he was a menace. He was a menace and signed for Liverpool. And now he's starting to step up. It's gonna be surprising to see how Liverpool manage Klopp's departure and how they get through that process, because that's going to be a very, very interesting one. I think a lot of people feel that Liverpool will drop off next season. You've got Van Dijk already questioning whether he's going to stay at Liverpool. Salah probably will question his future. And these are 2 players that probably will leave. Think about it. If you let Mo Salah and Van Dijk leave whilst you're going through that process, for one, it's going to be super duper hard to replace them. And for 2, I just don't see how Liverpool overcome that. I don't see how the manager, whatever manager it is, just deals with it. They're going to have a good eye for talent, someone that can come in instantly and replace a Van Dijk, or someone that can come in and instantly replace a Mo Salah. So, man. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. It's been an absolute pleasure, man. Thank you ever so much for checking this stream out. I had a good response for this stream, even though it weren't really Arsenal related. We're sitting here talking about the Premier League. It's good to see that we had engagement and people were interested in hearing what I had to say. And the maddest thing is I didn't go to sleep till 5 o'clock. I'll be yawning now. I'm actually tired. I'm tired, bruv. Mad. I went to sleep about 4:30, 5 o'clock. Woke up mad early. So I do apologize for having brain spasms throughout the stream and not being able to remember stuff and not being able to get my words out. No, when I do that, it's because I haven't slept. I'm high on caffeine and I'm high on hay fever tablets as well. So hay fever tablets. When I say hay fever tablets, but don't get it twisted. Big up Zinchenko. He says he can't. Big up Zinchenko. You know. Big up Christopher. He says Zinchenko can't defend. He definitely can't defend. I think we need to kind of sort out that left back position in the summer. You know, maybe that might be a move that Mikel Arteta or whoever decides to get. It could be Frimpong. I want Frimpong, man. I would love to see Frimpong. Wax, you need to get some sleep. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to do that, man. I want to do that. I'm going to go and see my mum. I might even have a nap at my mum's house. How about that? Recall Tierney. Exactly, man. But Tierney don't want to be here. Let me tell you, bro. Let me tell you now. You see Kieran Tierney? Bro, Kieran Tierney doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want to be here, bro. And he is ready to leave. He's going to be one of the players that we make money off in the summer. He doesn't want to be here, man. Oh, my nose feels like it's getting blocked up. I don't know what's going on, man. I need to go to the doctor's, man. I need a general health check. Make sure I'm okay. All right, guys, hit the like button. Big up Ram in the building. Big up Christopher, Abdullah, Jigger, Highbreeze Local Badger. Big up my brother Ed in the building, Nathan Hawthorne. Big up all the members. Big up Naga Channel. Big up Warren. I see you, bro. I didn't even see your comment there. I think we draw. Nothing much changes, but defo over for us in the title race if we lose. Big up Warren. Nothing but love and respect to you, Warren. Yeah, man. We need to get a result, man. Big up H. I see you. Big up Narato. Big up Bobatunde. Big up all the guys that I've been watching and I can see at the bottom of the chat. Make sure we are hitting the like button. Do subscribe to the channel if we are new. And I look forward to seeing you later on after the game. Come on, you guys.